Are you looking to take a break from alcohol, or are you looking to quit for good and walk away from drinking completely? If you are, you're in the right place. If you're curious on how to stay motivated along the way, I'm going to share my journey to sobriety and what helped me along the way. Celebrating the small wins and the big wins. Whether it's a few days, the weekend, a few weeks, a month, every little milestone that you set and reach for yourself should be acknowledged. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rhett, and I am sharing my journey to sobriety and life without alcohol. I'm doing this to hopefully help others on a similar path, sharing my wins, my setbacks, and how to navigate life without alcohol. In this video, I'm going to reflect on my sobriety milestones and celebrate the wins along the way. From the early days of cutting out alcohol to major breakthroughs that have completely transformed my life. I'll share key moments that have kept me motivated along this journey, whether it's celebrating, a few days sober, a couple weeks, a few months, to really celebrating life without alcohol, not even thinking about it, not having any urges. It wasn't an easy path for sure, but what helped me along the way was celebrating all the wins, the big ones and the small ones. And one thing looking back actually is reframing little wins versus small wins. What if we celebrated all the wins as big wins and not compare, the big wins versus the little wins? Because for me, I was always chasing the big wins. I wanted to hit it out of the park, have a home run. And I failed to kind of recognize the small wins. And the small wins could be, going out and hanging out with friends without having a drink. Or, going home early from an event and waking up and going to the gym. Or going on a run instead of drinking. In the beginning, for me, it was important to concentrate on the smaller wins. And now I know I just said that we shouldn't call them small wins, but hear me out here. What I mean by small wins is going for shorter increments of time being sober. So, instead of I'm going to be sober for ever or for 3 months or a week. I was concentrating on 1 day at a time, and then it would go to 2 days. And then I'd get to the weekend, I'd go through a whole weekend without having a drink. And you start to build this confidence of okay, I could do this. And then over time, you start to realize you don't need that alcohol. Now, it does take time. It's not going to happen after 3 days or a few weeks. For me, getting to the 3-month mark was a huge milestone. Getting to 3 months, it took longer than 3 months. And what I mean by that is I had many setbacks along the way. It took 3 years of just all kinds of setbacks. I would go, a few weeks here, a few days here, and then I would, have a setback, have a drink. So once I got to the 3-month mark, I really felt okay, this is something that I can sustain. This is something that I can consider normal. Now, at the 3-month mark, I still did have urges here and there, I mean, we still had beers in the fridge, and there were a few times where I was working out in the yard, it was hot, and I come and open the fridge, I'm just staring at a nice cold hazy IPA, and I'm like, for a second, it's like, damn, that sounds good. Just crack it open, have a nice sip. But that only lasted for a few seconds. And that right there, maybe some would consider a small win, but that's a huge win to literally face your urge, that can sitting in the fridge, and thinking for a second, man, a cold IPA, that sounds so good right now. And then it just poof, as soon as it came, it was gone. And that was one of those moments where I was like, okay, I'm improving. Alcohol doesn't have a stronghold on me anymore. Now, I definitely did have urges after that, but that one really stuck in my mind. And that's a huge win. Now, right around, I would say the 6-month mark is where I really started to feel like a new version of myself. I was really starting to get that mental and physical fog. My body was starting to heal. My mind, I had so much clarity in my thought process. And it was to the point where it's like, I won't even risk having a drink for how good I feel right now. It becomes, to the point where it's not worth it. Feeling good just feels good. And it's hard to beat that feeling, a natural feeling, that natural high of just not needing any outside substance to feel a certain way. It's just your natural way of being. And that was there. I don't think there was any particular moment where I realized this. It was just waking up every day feeling great, getting through the weekend, and just like not even having a thought of going and partying and drinking, not having any FOMO of, oh man, I'm missing out on the sweet party, or like, I've been to all the parties, I've been to all the bars. Like, there's not going to be, oh man, that party was so different. That bar was so different from all the other ones. That's just not the case. If you've been to one bar, you've probably been to almost all of them. Now, when I came up on a year, I remember having this feeling, not even an urge to drink, but like almost wanting to have a beer to celebrate, but also to test myself if I could just have one beer and be okay with that. And I thought about it quite a bit, the week leading up to my year mark. And I just came to the conclusion, it's like, that doesn't even make any sense. Why would I celebrate 1 year sobriety with a beer? Like, hello? But it's weird what our mind does. It kind of, can play tricks on us. You start negotiating with yourself to get what you want. That was another big milestone. And I don't think I really celebrated it as much as I should have at the moment. But now looking back at it, that was a pivotal time, getting sober. Now, after a year, like I felt like things were pretty cemented as far as not having any cravings, not having any urges to drink. Like, I could go out wherever, go to concerts, camping with friends, and I just had no urge at all. And obviously the biggest milestone to date would be hitting 2 years, which was a few months ago on June 7th. And I had an interesting realization the night before. And I thought to myself, like, I thought I would be more excited. I was laying in bed and just kind of like, thinking about life. And, like, I wasn't excited. I wasn't like pumped up about getting to 2 years. And this a low level of depression kind of set in. I'm like, why am I not even excited about this? Like 2 years is a big deal, especially for trying for so many years. And, went to sleep, and then the next day I woke up and kind of had the same feeling. Wasn't super excited, just kind of, I was sad, and I didn't know why. And later that day, I was starting to think about it. I was like, wait a minute. Like, alcohol is no longer a part of my life. It's no longer a part of my thought process. It's like alcohol was like it was a past life. And so that was my win. Like, it wasn't even on my mind. Like, it's not even there anymore. And I guess I maybe subconsciously expected to have this super, elated feeling of like, oh, I made it to 2 years. Good job, man. It was none of that. It was just, this is my new life. This is business as usual. There's no more cravings. There's no more, oh, man, I can't go here. I can't hang out with these people because I'll be tempted to drink. That is completely gone. And that feeling is like I don't even know how to describe it. All the setbacks and all the struggles I dealt with to get to that point were totally worth it. And you'll probably face a lot of the same things. My biggest takeaway is, like I always say at the end of every video, is to be kind to yourself. I struggled with negative self-talk every time I had a setback. Every time I, made progress and then fell back, started drinking again, is you got to celebrate all the wins. And they're all big wins. Even if you quit for a few days and have a drink after, at least you're trying. At least you're aware that you need to make a change in your life. And you're working to do so. It's not going to happen overnight. But you got this. You got this. So that's it for this video. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you on the next one.